Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul Jaif Farabi, and this is the unraveling thread. You know, my grandfather, back in Sylhet, lived with us until the very end. His world was our world. The noise of the kitchen, my sister's algebra homework spread on the floor, the call to prayer from the local mosque. It wasn't always easy, but his presence was woven into the fabric of our daily life. That's a familiar story for many of us, right? But here in the US, the story of aging, especially aging with dementia, often reads very differently. It's a story of locked wards, of sterile hallways, of a profound and painful separation from the world. So today, I want to talk about a model that claims to rewrite that story entirely. It's called the Dementia Village, and we're asking, is this a radical, humane future for elder care, or is it a well-intentioned but regressive step backwards? The most famous example is Hogeweyk in the Netherlands. Picture this: a small, quaint village with a town square, a grocery store, a cafe, a theater, hairdressers, gardens. The residents live in cozy, stylish apartments grouped by lifestyle, GUIs for the culturally inclined, and idyllic for the homemakers. They wander freely, visit the pub for a beer, pop into the supermarket. The crucial detail? All the residents have severe dementia, and everyone they meet, the cashiers, the postman, the other patrons in the cafe, are all highly trained caregivers and nurses. The fences are hidden, the doors are discreetly secured. It's a full-scale, fully staffed illusion, a benevolent fiction. Proponents call it a revolution in dignity. They argue that by recreating a familiar, social world, we reduce the terror and confusion of dementia. We treat the person, not the disease. The results, anecdotally at least, are striking. Reduced need for antipsychotic medications, less agitation, residents who appear more engaged. It seems to answer a deep, ethical hunger we have to treat our elders with more than just clinical efficiency. But this is where we have to start pulling the thread, because the first and most immediate critique is one of scale and access. Hogeweyk is phenomenally expensive to run, with a staff-to-resident ratio that most healthcare systems can only dream of. It's a boutique model. So we must ask, who gets to live in this humane utopia? Is this a future for all, or a luxurious, gated community for the fortunate few with the right insurance or family wealth? This isn't just a practical question, it's a sociopolitical one. It touches on how we, as a society, value care. Do we see it as a collective responsibility to fund dignified care for everyone, or as a private commodity for those who can afford it? The village model, in its ideal form, holds up a mirror to our failures. It shows us what's possible, but its very existence as a rare gem highlights the barren landscape of underfunded, understaffed traditional facilities most people actually face. Then we get to the deeper, more philosophical critique. The word often used is regressive. Some ethicists and dementia advocates argue that these villages, however beautiful, are a form of institutionalized deception. We are, in a sense, freezing people in a curated past. We are deciding for them what reality is acceptable. There's a paternalism in that. And it raises a haunting question. Does a person with advanced dementia have a right to experience the real world, with all its chaos, its noise, its unpredictable interactions with people who aren't paid to be kind? Or is our primary duty to shield them from distress, even if that means constructing a kind of paradise prison? This model, in trying to eliminate the problem of disorientation, might also be eliminating a form of agency. It replaces the challenge of integrating people with cognitive differences into our communities with the simpler solution of building them a separate, perfected community. And that feels like a surrender. It lets the rest of us off the hook. We don't have to learn to be patient, to communicate differently, to accommodate confusion in our public spaces. We just build a separate world and say, you'll be happier there. This tension hits home for me. I think about the Bangladeshi concept of sewa, of selfless service, of caring for parents and elders as a sacred, familial duty. The village model is, in a way, a professionalized, westernized institutionalization of that concept of holistic, communal care. But it lacks the one thing that defined my grandfather's experience: genuine intergenerational connection. It's a community of peers and paid staff. Where are the children running through? Where are the arguments about the television remote? Where is the messy, unscripted reality of a family? In our effort to create a safe, controlled environment, we might be sanitizing life itself. And life, especially at its end, isn't just about safety. It's about feeling connected to the flow of existence, even if you can't fully remember your part in it. So where does this leave us? I don't believe the Dementia Village is regressive in its heart. Its heart is in the right place. It's a profound rebellion against the cold, medicalized conveyor belt of decline. The radical part is its insistence that joy, social connection, and a sense of normalcy are non-negotiable parts of care. That is a seismic shift in thinking. But the model becomes problematic if we see it as the solution, a finished blueprint to be copied. The real unraveling leads us somewhere more challenging. The true innovation of Hogeweyk isn't the fake supermarket. It's the underlying principle. That environment is treatment. That design matters. That autonomy, even in small, curated ways, is vital. We need to steal those principles and bring them out of the gated village and into every single care home, and more importantly, into our own communities. The future shouldn't be about building more perfect, separate villages. It should be about making our existing towns and cities more dementia-friendly, training shopkeepers, creating quiet hours in public libraries, designing neighborhoods that are navigable and calm, supporting families with real resources so more people can choose to care for their loved ones at home, like my family did. The goal is integration, not segregation. The Dementia Village is a breathtaking proof of concept, a living question that challenges our priorities. But our answer shouldn't be to simply build more enclaves. It should be to take the radical empathy at its core and weave it into the fabric of our shared world. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Unraveling Thread. If this conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who thinks deeply about how we care for one another. For more from me, Ibnul Jaif Farabi, and the entire team, visit our production home at Light Not Studios. https://www.lightnotstudios.com. Until next time, keep pulling the thread.